Well, welcome everyone. I'm so excited to welcome you to session 2 of Inner Resilience. And I would like to introduce you, for those of you that weren't here last week, to Victoria Hart. She's a mastery coach.
Thank you. And I'll introduce Sharon. Sharon is a executive visionary coach, specializing in women leadership. And today we're going to be covering the topic of becoming the creator of your life. So we're really excited to be here with you all.
Thank you. Let me share our presentation that we prepared for you today. All right.
Great. Okay, so session 2, becoming the creator of your life. And so, what we're going to run through today are the 5 energy codes truths. We're going to look at how understanding the bioenergetic field assists us in sensing others' emotions. And we're going to bring in the energy man. We're going to reflect on the bus stop conversation to open up new perspectives. And we're going to learn how viewing our problems as projects for personal growth and awakening enable us to shift from this back side of the model that we talked about last week to the front side of the model in our empowerment and mastery. So, Sharon.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the 5 truths. So I'm going to run through these and then we'll kind of break them down a little bit more for you. So first, um, number 1, energy is everything. Everything is energy. So I think we all know that, right? Second, your life is a reflection of your energy. Third, you are the creator of your life. And then fourth, your creation, your life is always expanding. And 5, the purpose of your life is to discover your creatorship.
Mm.
So let's talk about the first 3 here. Everything is energy. So everything that makes up the entire universe is energy in varying wavelengths, vibrating at different frequencies. So if you think about energy, it's a communication. It's constantly communicating to you. Um, and we all know our atoms are like vibrating molecules, and everything is made of atoms, right? So, and your physical body is comprised of an infinite number of different frequencies, meaning can some are moving slowly, some are moving quickly, and those feel different from our bodies. Number one and foremost, we are this vibrational beings. And so um, it's most important for us to understand and feel into that. And then life is a reflection of your own consciousness. The more unified your energy is in your core, the more awakened you are to your true nature and power. And then through your feedback loop, you create your own reality.
Yeah, so I'll just add to that if that's all right. So, if you were to think of energy in our body in terms of like thoughts and emotions, first we get that thought, or sorry, first we get that emotion in our body in a situation, which then generates a thought, and then from that thought, we generally start creating a story about what that emotion meant that we experienced in the situation. And so, what we're going to be guiding you through today is how to kind of bypass the story and go straight to the energy in the body so that we can then disrupt those stories and disrupt that energetic disturbance and use it more as it says at the bottom here, that feedback loop to recognize that, oh, we just need to regenerate the circuits in our body. So hopefully that gives you a concept to work with as well.
Thank you. Yeah, so we want to introduce you to this energy man. And this is like a little drawing from Dr. Sue Morter, but if you think about it, you've probably all heard the concept of an aura, um, but it's basically your energy field, right? And you begin to recognize that you're more than just this body, right? You have your mental body, the thoughts you think and how they affect you. You have your emotional body, um, sensing and feeling other people's and your own emotions, right? And then you have your spiritual body, which is connected to the infinite, to others, to yourself. And all of these things are connected to your internal energy centers and how they affect you. So the energy man highlights, more than we're just our physical bodies. We're energetic beings with energetic fields that interact and influence our physical reality. This shows the various energy centers. Some people call them chakras or meridians. If you go to acupuncture, things like that, right? These are all connected. And um, what happens as we go through life is we put on certain veils, like we get conditioned, and these can show up as kind of blocks in our energy. So they're like blind spots or limiting beliefs that we take on. And these affect how we see the world. And so as you go through your life and um, draw more awareness and have the energy flowing through that center a little bit more, the more you are able to see kind of the love that's actually there, the truth that's actually there, and begin to become more the creator of your life. And this is how you get into the more conscious creation. Did you?
Yeah, I was going to add that that's how also, by getting in touch with our energy field, that's how we can kind of sense our way through life. Because, you might think, let's think of an example of maybe when you've walked into a room and somebody's been in there and had an argument just before you walked in, and maybe you still can feel that tension in the air. Or perhaps maybe you meet a stranger in the street or in the workplace, and your body just wants to kind of recoil rather than lean into that person. So, these are kind of guides that our body's telling us that can help us kind of navigate our lives with greater ease, really.
Mhm.
And so we're going to introduce the bus stop conversation. So this is the cosmic bus stop where we all meet before we come down to Earth and take on these physical bodies. And this is really kind of going to help us sort of put all of this in perspective when we have had things in our life that haven't felt good, or have caused us to put on our armor, protect ourselves, and it's created those emotions of anger or fear or resentment. And so the bus stop conversation goes a bit like this. So we're all souls and we meet at the cosmic bus stop, and we're standing in line and we're waiting for the bus to come along and take us down to Earth. And so as we're waiting in line, you turn to some of the other souls in the queue and you're like, hey, what is it that you would like to come down and experience on Earth? What are you going down there to learn? And so perhaps one of them says, oh, I really want to learn my deepest wisdom. I really want to know how wise I am. And another one might say, well, I really want to know what it feels to be courageous. I want to know courage. And another one says, oh, well, I would really love to know what it feels like to just be unconditionally loving. And so then they turn to you and say, well, what about you? What are you going down there for? And so you might say, well, I want to have a bunch of experiences that are really going to shake me awake. I want to know my ability to forgive. And I don't want to know it on just, a level 3 or 4. I want to know level 10 forgiveness, a full 10 out of 10. And so one's like, whoa, level 10 forgiveness. What's it going to take to experience that? And so you might say, well, it's going to have to take something pretty unforgivable for me to reach a level 10 forgiveness. So, maybe someone has too much to drink at happy hour and gets behind the wheel and they jump a stop sign and plow into my car head on. And to make it even more worse, maybe they take out my family, or maybe that I'm left crippled. It could have been avoided, but that moment of action, that moment of irresponsibility, caused all this pain and suffering. And so they're like, whoa, then I would spend years, maybe, years in this hurt and anger, and which would continue my suffering, not being able to release this pain and anger due to what that other person had done. And so it would take me to really dig deep into my heart to find level 10 forgiveness, to really forgive that situation. And so then, you might look around and say, well, who's going to be the driver of the car? And so no one speaks up, no one wants to do that. And then eventually one of the souls puts up their hand and says, well, I'll do that for you. I can see how much that means to you and how much it will help with your soul evolution. And also it will help me with my personal mission of self-forgiveness. So you then turn to each other and, thank you so much for really assisting me on my soul path and my soul evolution. And we'll see you down on earth. And of course, we come to earth and we forget that we've made all these soul agreements. We forget that we've wanted to experience these things from a soul level for our own creatorship and expansion. And so, as we land on earth and these things start happening, or we believe they're happening to us, this is to awaken us to the greatness of who we really are. And so if you look at it as a metaphor, can you really see how when we approach life from this perspective, we can see how everything is actually expanding us. And it's really about how we respond to a situation rather than how we then react to a situation, which is, going to change how long we're suffering for, essentially. And so if we really approached, our approach to life and maybe even our approach to sort of mental health, we can really come from this higher perspective and actually, have a greater ability to heal ourselves, because we can start to see that everything that happens to us is happening for us and it's all serving us in the long run. So, big story there. And so, yeah, that kind of leads us then into the 4 and 5 truths, which is that your creation, or which is your life, you or your life, is always expanding. And so just as, science has shown us that the universe is always expanding, so is our consciousness always expanding. And that's really what's serving us. We want to be expanding. We want to raise our level of consciousness so that we can have a greater and more fulfilling experience of life. And so when we look at life from the bus stop perspective, we're able to start to see that even when we're in it and it may not feel like it, that actually everything is serving us and helping us to expand. And so if we can come from that perspective, then everything actually is always good. We're not always looking for we'll look for the silver lining and things, or that some things are bad and other things are good. No, it's all good because it's all serving our life expansion. And so that's helping us shift from that backside of the model into the front side of the model, knowing that with each thing that happens, we have an opportunity to expand our consciousness and make a higher choice. And so from that higher choice means not that, we don't necessarily have challenges in life anymore, but it means we're able to take a step back and consciously choose how we're going to respond to, whatever situation shows up in our life. And knowing that each challenge is actually, we're expanding in our life, which means we as souls are expanding in our experience. So, is there anything you'd like to add, Sharon?
Yeah, I love that perspective so much. It's like we are learning to start to make decisions from love instead of our protective self,
Mm.
and seeing challenges as opportunities because of this the bus stop, the conversation, or to put it a different way, any kind of trigger or any kind of challenge, right, is just an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to see it in a different light and move out of that fear, that protective self, and into conscious creation.
Yeah, and hopefully, when I first heard this story, I think it kind of accelerated my growth, obviously, because it enabled me to drop things that had, I'd been looping in painful cycles for so long. Because let's say I couldn't, there were situations that I found difficult to find that forgiveness. And then with each time we can do that, we're actually starting to discover, well, what is my capacity? How deep can I go to really unveil the truth of who I am and what I'm capable of? So yeah.
All right, thank you. So now we're back to our group discussion, and we might do something different and just turn off the recording here so people feel comfortable in discussing and going deeper into this, and so that we can share this with a broader audience. So,
Just if you want to flip to the last slide so we can wrap it
oh,
up
good idea.
quickly.
Good
For
idea.
anyone catching the recording, again, here's how you can reach out to us and connect with us. If you've got any questions or something comes up in your space while you're going through this course with us over the next 6 weeks, then we are here to support you.
Great. Thank you.